other side of pro days. How are you feeling?
It's a relief. The season gets over and beginning of January, and that next week you're shipped off to go training for 3 months. You're away from your family, away from loved ones, and you put everything into it. It's just discipline, consistency. For those 3 months, but I'd also like to obviously point out that it's much more beyond that consistency and discipline for the past 8, 9, 10 years, and a lot of people pouring into me with all the way back to high school. Coach Gray, speed coach, helping me. He was a track athlete here, football player as well, and he poured into me, helped lead me to obviously a great position getting here. And then Coach Heron obviously has done a great job. So, and in the past 3 months, I've been able to work with people down in California, Les Spellman, so it's been special.
I guess what all went into that 3 month stretch building up to this day?
Yeah, it's just I wouldn't say that there's anything special. I think it's similar stuff that we do here. It's what this program is built on. It's like I said, it's consistency. Day in and day out, with everything, with sleep, nutrition, training, recovery, all of those aspects.
What was it like training as a receiver and working out today as a receiver?
Yeah, I loved it. So I'm a football player. I always have been. I just happened to play quarterback for the past 4 years. That's what our team needed to win, and I put everything into it. I started here. People doubted my ability to play the quarterback position. After 4 years, I become the player of the year at the quarterback position. So that's the type of growth that I can have at whatever position it might be. And so I see that there's a start to it here, and there's a couple of weeks here that I gotta start developing that, and I think that it just continue to flourish as I continue my career.
You kind of mentioned it right there, but what do you bring for potential guys? What do you bring to a team?
Yeah, I mean, my position specifically, I think it's invaluable to whatever team might get me. Being on the field, not knowing if the individual's gonna be able to throw the ball, run the ball, catch the ball, all those different aspects. So just like that dynamic piece, actually playing the game, and then beyond that, I'm just a team first player. I work my butt off every single day. As you can see today, I wasn't the fastest kid in my middle school, but I'm standing here today running a 4.39. So it's just a testament to who I am as an individual, what I've done, and the people that have supported me.
You have your hand on the line before the 40. What's going through your mind?
Yeah, I've practiced it so many times. I've ran track obviously through high school, three-sport athlete. Track helped me a ton. Showing up down in California, I think a lot of people, they immediately were like, "Geez, man, like you can run," and obviously a surprise. But yeah, I think that it's you resort back to your mean, I suppose, and so I think that I ran well. I think I could have ran better. I think I could, but you resort back to your mean on big occasions like this. I don't think you rise to the occasion. I think you resort back to your mean, and my mean is pretty high. So that was what today was all about.
I think it's to get yourself mentally prepared to do a workout in a competition like this, where each thing is only 5 or 6 seconds
Yeah.
long, right?
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, playing football, it's a grueling 60-minute slug out, and it's a lot of preparation. You're beat up, and so it's fighting through so many different aspects. And but today, it just to see how fast you are and how quick you are, and so you visualize it as you're training. You practice in situations that are stressful. You practice, all those different aspects to it because it is as much emotionally as it is physically. Um, and so, yeah, all those different aspects go into a day like today.
To be able to possibly represent you and this school at the next level, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's an honor for sure. Growing up, there's very few individuals from Montana and let alone and very much next to none from Butte that have an opportunity to go play Division I football, let alone go and start and become an All-American at one point, and then have an opportunity to play in the NFL is such a low percentage. So it's an honor to obviously represent the people that have bought into who I am as an individual and supported me through this entire 8, 9, 10 year stretch here, all the way dating back to middle school. So many people have believed in me, poured into me, and so it's an honor to come out here and represent them.
Which mark are you proudest of today?
I guess I'm happy with everything, and so I guess the mark that I'm like most happy about is just being able to, the entire crew, all 7 of us, being able to represent Coach Herring. To be honest with you, that's the mark that means the most to me, because what that guy's sacrificed, like for me, for this entire program, uh, he's super special. So yeah, I just want to make sure that everybody knows that he's as elite as they come, and Montana State's extremely special to have him. We're extremely grateful to have him.
Doing such a high level of training through the last 12 weeks, how did it compare to Coach Aaron's program? It seemed like you guys had a great baseline going into these sort of pro preparation.
Absolutely, yeah. Getting advice from him probably meant the most, to be honest with you. And he believed in Les Spellman down in California, and so whatever connection that got it all together, I just know that there's multiple names that brought it up, and I think that I don't know if he like subscribes to his universal speed rating. There's some sort of program that he runs, but it's basically the exact same thing. So yeah, there's a little bit of equipment that was a little bit different, but other than that, it was, it's the work's the work, and Coach Herring coaches it as well as anybody. So, but it was special to go and train with a guy that he believes in as well. So,
rooming with Marcus and being able to train with those other kind of elite college players, how special was that down with Les down there?
Yeah, it was special. I think that there's so much uncertainty. I didn't know where I was going to be going. I didn't know what anything was going to look like. And so I really had about 4 days to figure all of it out. And so it was an overwhelming process, but, you just put faith into what other people, that you trust and you care about, tell you. And you go off and you do everything you can, and you control what you can control. So, Marcus and I think it was a great pair. He's extremely competitive. He gets everything, he does everything a million miles an hour. But he's also, I think he takes care of himself in a great way. I think I do as well, but I think I always like to do as much as I possibly can, which is sometimes less is more. So, we were a good little, ice and fire there, being able to kind of help each other out with that. So, yeah.
Have you been able to take from or study any other quarterbacks that made the switch to receiver once they got to the league?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the immediate reaction would be Julian Edelman, and it's funny. I've told people this today. I have pictures from when I was in the 4th grade, my first practice in little guy football. I had his jersey on, and that was when all he did. He was a rookie, so he was just a punt returner. But I had his rookie card. I had his jersey. He's a guy that I just, for whatever reason, you know, lean towards, I suppose, just with. And so I think that I don't think I'm gonna like the exact same individual as Julian Edelman. I think there's gonna be a lot of comparisons with that, but I think that he's one person that I've obviously, you know, I like to see myself going in and playing, a 10, 11-year NFL career, and helping win Super Bowls, doing stuff like that, and all, whatever it takes. He played defense, he played special teams. He was one of the best, postseason receivers and receivers general in the entire, NFL history. So he's made his mark like no one else, and I believe I can do that as well.
The work today, is that about what you were expecting?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that, like I said, he kind of resort back to the mean. So, I think that there's days that I could have jumped higher, there's days that I could have jumped lower, but that's where I was at today. So,
How much other positions are you? I mean, obviously training as punt returner there. Running back, anything else? Other receiver, or is receiver kind of the locked in thing that scouts at you guys?
I don't, I really didn't get an impression that there's a certain position. I think I played quarterback. I know defenses as a quarterback. I've also played receiver. I've played in a 2 quarterback system, split out as wide receiver, in the backfield as running back. And those are the things I've done in my career. And so I think that, and I'm like ran for 1,000 yards in 2 different seasons. So I think there's a lot of opportunity with what I'm able to present for sure.
What do you think of your other teammates today, how they tested, especially Brody Green?
Yeah, I mean, it was just a special day to be back here and compete with those guys again. Again, it was that game, the emotional, just overwhelming emotionally. You end the season the way that we ended, and you immediately have to, pick yourself up and have no idea where you're going to be going. You have to, tell loved ones, your family, goodbye, everything that's kind of comfortable, goodbye. You kind of put your faith into, people around you to try to support you as much as you can, because you don't really know, how you're going to be able to really afford everything, as well. So that was just so much gratitude for people that have supported me. But I think that they all left obviously as well, and they worked their butt off for the 4 months, 3 months, 4 months that they had. And to get back with these guys, it just meant the world. And to go see that, everybody's performance was very special. I hope that they can come out here and obviously represent themselves the best that they possibly can, because I think that everybody performed extremely well today. And, I'm very happy and privileged to obviously compete with those guys. I'm not where I'm at today without those guys, pushing me. So.
What's the next several weeks look like for you between now and the draft?
I'm not too sure. I got to figure that out now. So I'll just continue to train, keep my ears open, hoping I can, get opportunities to continue to impress people and continue to improve. That's kind of what I've always been about. That's what I'll continue to be about.